With worldwide events escalating into a very dangerous territory on a global scale, a lot of people have been asking, Magic Prepper, you're always focused on firearms and ammunition and firearms training and things like that. And why do you think self-defense is so important when we know as a preparedness community that food is a priority, water is a priority, backup power options are a priority, and everything else that the preparedness community prioritizes? And I totally understand that, and I agree with those sentiments, and especially with what's going on right now in the sense of nuclear preparedness. People are wondering, like, hey, I know gas masks and potassium iodide and everything else is important if that stuff happens in your locale, but why are you still so focused on guns? Why are you so worried about self-defense or being able to defend yourself, right? Well, here's the thing that you need to keep in mind. There's two things I've done over the past couple of years that I think have definitely given me an advantage if I ever find myself in a very precarious SHTF style scenario. The first thing is getting physically fit. That's been huge. I've been able to get my physical fitness level up to a point that I have never been at before, and I think that that's something that all of us could work on and do better at, right? And then the other one is firearms knowledge and training associated with it. Now, the reason that's so important, and here's the thing that you really have to keep in mind, is that it's not always the nuclear bomb itself that you really have to be concerned about. Do we have CBRN protective gear in case something happens in our generalized area and we have to either travel or evacuate or who knows what else causes us to have to expose ourselves to that environment? Well, yes, we have that gear and we have that medicine and everything else related to that just in case that ever occurs. But at the end of the day, the thing you really have to be concerned about in a nuclear war type scenario or even just a global conflict type scenario, even if it's not nuclear, if it stays conventional, you have to understand that these major events that we're currently witnessing begin right now. The biggest problem and the biggest threat during them is always people. And I hate saying that because we need to be better as a community and we need to try to get more people involved in preparedness and everything else. But people are our greatest threat throughout any SHTF scenario. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be natural disaster, it could be an asteroid hitting the Earth, right? Or it could be man-made in the sense of a World War III type scenario. It could be whatever you want to call it, but people become the most dangerous part of those situations. And if you're not in a situation where you can protect yourself from those people, then you're going to find yourself in a bad spot. And that's what I'm trying to avoid. I have people who count on me. I have people who rely on me to protect them. So I need to be as physically fit and as mentally fit as I can be in order to do so. And that requires training and time, and it requires the right equipment, and it requires the right analysis to be able to decide what the right equipment is based on environment, based on personal preference, and everything else related to that. So when it comes to that subject, not only am I, of course, passionate about it, and of course there's a lot of things surrounding the Second Amendment that I'm also very passionate about, but at the end of the day, being physically fit and being proficient with firearms is going to give you an advantage over a large portion of the population that is neither one of those things. And by doing that, you're making sure that you stay safer during an emergency scenario and that your family is more safe based on the fact that people are always going to eventually be the most dangerous part of any SHTF scenario. That's just what happens. We've already seen looters getting arrested because of what happened in Hurricane Ian and everything else going on down there. And we know that the worst part of people come out when the opportunity arises. And as soon as a nuclear event takes place, a bomb could go off right now in another country, all the way across an ocean. And it's not that bomb that's going to personally affect you. It's the people around you and the people in your area that you're gonna have to be concerned about. It's going to spike panic buying. People are gonna lose their minds. People might not show up to work. People are gonna take their kids out of school. People are gonna take money out of the banks. The herd is going to panic. And in that process, things get very dangerous. And the people who are opportunistic and already established to be able to take those opportunities once they arise, those people are going to be very dangerous. So understand that yes, food, water, backup power options, medicine, all those things that are so important for preparedness that you will need for sure in any emergency scenario, of course they take priority when it comes to your budget and when it comes to where you are in your preparedness. But if you have a lot of those things already stored away, like I do, and you already have a good grasp as to what it is you need in order to get through a long-term situation, being able to set yourself apart from everyone else in the sense of self-defense and proficiency could be the difference of your survival. And so, yes, I focus on that. Yes, is it passionate? Of course it is. But you have to keep in mind, it's not always the bomb that's going to be the problem for you. It's not always the nuke that's going to be the thing you have to survive. It's the people that are around afterward. It's how they react. It's what their behavior will be. And if they get organized and they want to do it in a malicious way, you better be ready to deal with whatever that mob decides they want to do with either you or your family. And that's an unfortunate side effect of the way things are, but it's just true. So don't let all that stuff go off to the wayside just because, well, you know, if World War III happens, they'll just send drones and take you right out. So who cares about an AR-15, right? You hear that kind of talk all the time, especially in the comment section. Understand that it's not the drone I'm worried about as much. It's not the invading military force I'm worried about as much. You know, are all those things factors? Sure. You know, is it good to be prepared about those types of concepts and do what you can? Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's the people in your surrounding area who are going to lose their minds or take advantage of the situation that creates the necessity for being able to defend yourself in a proficient way. And can you do that? Are you physically fit enough to deal with somebody hand to hand? Can you actually get through an altercation in that type of environment? And at the same time, do you own an AR-15? Do you own a handgun? Do you own a shotgun? Great. When's the last time you shot it? Is it zeroed? Is it well maintained? Do you even know what brand it is? These are the things that you should definitely be keeping in mind. Understand that, yes, you'll see a lot of that type of stuff here on the channel, and these are the reasons why. Right now, I'm very concerned about the trajectory our planet is currently on. If a nuclear war starts, it's going to be horrible. But you know what? It's not likely that the country who is involved in it is who I'm going to have to fight with these tools and this equipment that I have and this training that I'm acquiring. Likely, it's going to be some crazed meth head guy who lives down the street who decided to see what they could get away with during a time of crisis. And that's just how it works. So I just want everybody to be aware of that. And I wanted you to kind of think about something that isn't directly related to the current conflict, but is still part of the conversation that needs to be had. Hopefully this gives you something to consider, and that's going to be it for Magic Prepper.